Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Lunch Table Podcast. For this episode, we are continuing with The Idol, now out on Max. Check it out. For this episode, we are covering episode 2. So in this episode, we see the price of fame and that it takes a lot to sell your soul to record labels. I like this episode a lot more than the last one, but Akram, let's start off with your thoughts.
Yeah, she's a gluttonous for a punishment. Is that the saying? Or unless I sound complete schizo. This episode is actually really heartbreaking, especially in the beginning. So there's like, we seen from the trailer, she's wearing this, I'd say kind of iconic like suit that she has to be sewn into really tight. We've seen that from past promotionals. So finally it's here. It's a music video. It's actually really heartbreaking, and she's so exhausted by the end of the experience and so like disillusioned and just unmotivated. And it's really sad how they pushed her again and again and again. So I also think now I see how bad it is that Tedros, he's preying on her weakness. And we also get to see that he has somewhat of a cult as well. So that's really interesting. And somebody said from our last video in the comment section that it gave them horror vibes from the 1970s. I definitely felt that here with the music, some cues, and especially the cult aspect. So yeah, they were spot on with that. But anyways, let's continue with your thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I was exhausted actually watching her do all those takes. I had so many callbacks to when we've done recordings, and sometimes we've had technical issues as well. And you know, sometimes that the one take that's like the perfect shot gets, you know, it's unusable because of technical problems. But yeah, so in the beginning she has a standoff with her producer Nikki because she's trying to find her voice and her creativity, and Nikki unfortunately has to give her a reality check because unfortunately this is a lot of time and money. That she could have did it in a little nicer way, but
dude, no. To be honest with you, I was thinking, you think I'm gonna play this song in the radio or like with my family? I was like, I'm on Nikki's side. To be honest,
I'm not gonna lie. When she first played that, the first 5 minutes, that was like ear rape to my ears. It was like so loud in the store. I was like,
Me, I was like that monkey meme where he has the headphones. He's like, just for ASMR value, I guess.
But I was thinking too, I was like, why? Because so many artists produce their hit singles and then go back later and remix it. I've seen a lot of artists do that, like on, you know, Apple Music and Spotify. So I was thinking, like, why didn't she just use her song as like a remix? You know, it didn't have to be like her hit single, because like Nikki said, they were already losing tickets for the tour and they were on a deadline. So to have this like last minute, I get what she's trying to do because she's trying to reclaim her identity in a way and not kind of like sell her soul, like I said, to these labels. But at the same time, it's like, you know, you're on deadlines and you got to meet these deadlines because it's very costly. And everybody, like from the dancers to the director, you know, she was getting pissed off because they had to do so many takes. It's very exhausting just, you know, going through, and it's a lot of money, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she feels that the spotlight is starting to dim on her, especially in that moment when she kept on messing up so many times. And we get more conversations about her mother that passed away from cancer. And so she said like she couldn't do it without her mother. She just can't. And then everyone's trying to motivate her. And I really like Destiny in this episode. I don't know if she was being a little bit manipulative. I mean, business is business at the end of the day. But at that moment, I think she did her job properly. It was like try to motivate Jocelyn as any way as she could, you know? And yeah, it was really unfortunate that the camera went blurry because that was like a fire take. You know, she got it the last take and then all of a sudden she couldn't do it anymore. So this episode really centered around that music video, but then Tedros comes back, and so we are introduced to Tedros's like people inside this shady, you know, his shady nightclub, and there was like everybody around. It kind of reminded me of Charles Manson. Because everybody was just laying around. They seemed like hippies. And he was punishing this one guy. He was making him dance in a provocative way. I feel like, I don't know, I feel weird talking about this in a provocative way. And yeah, so he kept on shocking that guy. He wore a shock collar. I find it interesting the lengths that Tedros will go. Why don't you tell us a little bit, give us some tea on where Tedros is from?
He's from Hawaii, apparently. Yeah. I would never have guessed that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Yeah, he's very predatory, and Destiny and Haim were talking, and they were doing a background check on him, where he's from, and apparently he owes a lot of money and he doesn't exist apparently. And the other guy, I think his name is Isaac, he gave his how he met with Tedros, and he was apparently a church singer, and he heard him, and I guess he falls for very vulnerable people and tries to manipulate them and make them feel they're actually worth something. Right. Because it feels like he's enabling Jocelyn, right? And using her. And now, because we also saw that Nikki is trying to replace Jocelyn with this other girl, Diane. She's a singer and dancer too. And apparently she's part of the same cult as Tedros too. Mm-hmm. So now he's, making a deal with Nikki to, give her a label now. Mm-hmm. And now I guess he's going to own the rights to Jocelyn. And now from there, it's just complete control, right?
Yeah, and I also like in this episode how, I mean, we get more information on this on Tedros' scheme, and so it seems like every member, a part of his nightclub, he's just using them to somehow gain more power in the industry, and at least it's good to be connected. I mean, they do say your network is your net worth, and I think he took that to heart. But in a way, he's really changing a lot of their ideologies, because Isaac, they met in a church. I could imagine how Isaac was. He probably was a churchgoer, just a good kid, and all of a sudden he's this, really different. Even Chloe's character, she seems really talented with the piano. Isaac and Chloe, they both sing beautifully, and even the other girl that Nikki was trying to get to sign her, she actually sang not bad, and she's a dancer. So Isaac twists people. The interesting thing is that Jocelyn, Tedros found Jocelyn in the most wrong moment in Jocelyn's life. She's really breaking. So it's really interesting. I wonder if this is the first time ever he ever met somebody like that that's already broken. He doesn't have to do any work there, because she's really suffering a lot. And I think that makes it even more cataclysmic. At the end, we might see something very, very dreadful.
For sure. Yeah, I think he almost has a fetish for innocence in a way, because it's easy to pervert that talent into something, that he wants, right? And that, I'm not gonna lie, that last scene was kind of cringe for me, just because it dragged on so long and it was so sultry. Guys, don't watch this with your kids. I'm just gonna tell you right now. I can stomach a lot of stuff, but it was so dragged on. I feel to cover my own eyes. Yeah, I was like that. What did you think about that scene, actually? Because I think it kind of tells us about him in a way.
I think it's a interesting dynamic, because Jocelyn wants to be controlled. She's a powerful person, but she's a woman, and so she lacks a daddy type of figure, right? And she lost her mother, so she wants punishment for some reason. She feels like she deserves it, and she finds it's very sexual, and so she can't get out of that tar pit. It's too much for her, right? So when he pulls on her emotions, and he knows, he has a good game, he knows how to do it. It's almost like a game for him, right? So with just words, he could get her on, and Chloe's there, Chloe's watching, and she's enjoying herself too. So, and he knows that, he sees that. So he's even more aroused by controlling two people in the room. It's not just one. So that just shows how powerful he is, or how, they're in his clutches, basically. I really wonder if Tedros is bisexual too. I wonder if he has Isaac in his clutches as well. If he's just fucking everybody. I mean, that's also something that keeps you in his clutches even more. So he plays on Jocelyn's masochistic side. It's what is it, BDSM? Not really, but kind of. I also find it interesting. I just want to make a mention of it, that Jocelyn has cuts. At first I thought, and this ties into Tedros's sex thing. At first I thought she was cutting her inner thighs with a knife, but then I realized, oh no, she's masturbating so hard that the glass that she's masturbating with breaks, because we do see later on that she has a glass. The fact that he introduced that, and she keeps thinking about that to the point where she cuts herself, that just shows how attached to Tedros she is. She's a goner for now. And I think all these people None of them can save her. And you know what's even sadder is that she doesn't really have family. So who can actually save her? And it's not going to be her friend, because her friend was asking, like, who's Tedros? Blah, 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 blah. Then the next second she was getting banged the fuck out of. And it's like, she's not like a really strong character as well. I don't think she's going to save Jocelyn.
Definitely not. Yeah, she's definitely not helping her in this situation. She's not at all. You know, pushing Tedros away, right? No. She's actually like enabling him in a way.
Yeah.
Because she even did coke, you know, with him. He's like, do you trust me? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And then she's like, yeah, straight line shit.
Yeah,
no, but that's so true. I think the only family she really has is Destiny and Fahim. They feel like the only genuine people in her life that want to see her succeed. But even then, they're also tied to the record label, so they only have so much power. Mm-hmm. And Xander, I thought it was interesting too, because I love how this show is shot. It's like when we see, you know, the focus is like the music video, and as we're watching this meltdown, we're also watching other characters in between, you know, have like private conversations, so we kind of see like their character expositions in a way. And Xander, like, I think the Vanity Fair lady asked him like, you know, do you love doing what you're doing? And he's like, oh, I'm just here because, you know, I love Jocelyn, right? So it's like, for everybody, it's kind of fake. Like, they don't really know what they want. It's just succession. That's all. It's all about, you know, the price of fame. Like I said before, it's they're selling their souls. That's all it is.
Absolutely. No, that's absolutely true. I think coming forward in the weeks forward, I feel like Tedros is actually going to make Jocelyn a brilliant pop star. I feel like that's what's going to happen. I think it's going to be so tragic because not only does she not have anyone to rely to, you know, she has to rely on Tedros now, and Tedros is using that. And so now she's going to become a brilliant pop star, and now she's ostracized from her team, but she's brilliant. So what happens when Tedros finds the next girl? Or she comes to this realization that, oh shit, yeah, he's shady, he's a piece of shit, this and that. Once you leave him, now you have to really find your inner voice. Because I tell you what, she thinks that this is her inner voice. Tedros is pulling out her pain and putting it into the music. That's not her inner voice. I mean, for the moment, sure, but you shouldn't live in that pain. That's torture, right? Her inner voice, a little bit later on, to be successful, shouldn't be fake, and it shouldn't come out of pain. It should really just come from her soul. And I hope her soul isn't at all in pain a little bit later in life. So it's really, really, really sad what's going to happen. And I feel like, I don't know, she's maybe a goner. And they say that perhaps there will be a season 2. I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but there has been a lot of drama with the Weeknd and you know, the creators and stuff. Rotten Tomato score is pretty low. I really doubt we'll see a season 2. I think it'll cost Warner Brothers a lot of money to produce a season 2 that doesn't really benefit them to their own plans and their own business. So if they realize that, I wonder if there's some late edits that shows that something really bad happens to Jocelyn at the end. But anyways, continue, please.
Yeah, well, you know, maybe it'll become a cult following, right?
Oh yeah.
Thing with it, it's like Euphoria in a way. It's like once everybody watches the first, because I was actually surprised when we reviewed the first one and so many people saw a review. I was like, wow, I guess people are, you know, paying attention to the show. And it is it's a big spotlight on the industry, I would say, and kind of, you know, true to life. You know, it's HBO loves to do tragedies for some reason. It's like their kink, I guess. Like watching people like set up for failure in a way. But it's really interesting. I like how they go about it, and they show this very damaged character, and we see, like, you know, her psyche, and just everybody is using her, like even down to like her daily life, because she has a very strict diet and she has like a exercise routine, so she literally has to like keep in shape to look good for, you know, this music video and stuff. So, and now Tedros, for sure, I think he is sinking his claws deeper into her life, and perhaps he'll end up owning her assets somehow, and then it's just like complete control from there. And then, like you said, it's like once he finds the next Jocelyn in a way, I think he'll just, you know, discard her, right? But amazing episode. I loved it. I loved, the actress, she did an amazing job. The cast is phenomenal. They just feel so true to their part, and it's just really exciting to see like where this show continues. But if I had to rate this episode, I'd probably give it 9 out of 10. How about you?
I'll give it like a 7 out of 10. Yeah, it was a pretty good episode. I don't think it wowed me I like that it was different. If they concluded this episode last week, it definitely would have sold me a lot better. I think it warrants a 7 out of 10 though. The problem is I know it's artsy. They show too much the sexual side, and I get the point, but I wish it moved the story a little bit more forward. It's just showing you how twisted this sexual connection that Jocelyn and Tedros has and how he has her in his clutches. But I kind of wish that they move past that and show some other scenes and showed more of Jocelyn's like inner psyche, talking to different people, not always being super sexual. It's not like being a prude or something like that. I just feel like there's better time to be had somewhere else. So that's why I kind of feel like it's a little too long here and there. It drags. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah. So take us away.
Thank you guys. If you stayed till the end of this video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you like this video, check out our episode 1 review that we did as well. We'll be covering this series week to week every Sunday. And yeah, check out the other playlists and content that we have out. We're so busy this week, but we thank you guys for all your support. But until then, guys, thanks for having lunch with us.
See you guys.